Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Nordic Leblock podcast. It is episode number 30, and it is December 2nd, 2024. I am Nord, joined with Block. LeBlock, how we doing?
We're doing fantastic today.
That's great to hear. Are you ready to talk some Four Nations?
I am so ready to talk some Four Nations.
That's what the bulk of this episode is going to be. But first, let's get into some news around the NHL. That's the biggest thing that I think is worth talking about first. We're going to start off with two trades. We're going to start off with the smaller one before we get into the bigger one. The Colorado Avalanche have acquired goaltender Scott Wedgewood, and in exchange, the Nashville Predators have acquired goaltender Justus Onnnnnn and a 2025 sixth-round pick. I can see both sides of this. Colorado's trying to solve their problem by getting Scott Wedgewood, and for Nashville, the selling process has started. But LeBlock, when this trade dropped, what did you think?
I'm just confused.
Confused? Why?
Onnnnnn was doing pretty well as a backup for the Avs. Decently, as Onnnnnn was actually a World Junior legend for Finland. But he was doing pretty good for the Avs, and Wedgewood was not a fit at all in Nashville. You could tell by the games. If you watch the games he played, he was not a fit at all. But Onnnnnn is a young asset. I'm pretty sure he's 24 years old, 24, 25. Or I'm just
Onnnnnn is 24 years old.
Yeah.
In 11 games played with Colorado this year, he's 6-4, has a 3.23 and a .872. Scott Wedgewood has played 5 games with Nashville this year, is 1-2-1, has a 3.69 and a .878.
I would, if I'm Colorado, I would stick with the younger player. I get Wedgewood's an immediate upgrade, maybe, but that's not a solution.
They're looking for something to solve the problem in the short term. I hope this is not the long-term solution, because I don't think that this is a long-term solution, if I'm being dead honest. You're going to go out and say that a career backup who has never played more than 30 games in a season is going to be your starter? Not sure if I buy that.
I don't buy it either. I think this probably will not get corrected until the off season. They need a goalie bad. And if you look at the goalie market right now, who's really available?
Yeah, I mean, Blackwood. I've heard a lot of talks of possibly Mackenzie Blackwood, but I think that's probably going to be closer to the trade deadline, if anything. I don't think that happens now. But again, I guess we'll see what happens with that. But again, neither of them have played games. I haven't heard anything about who's going to start when. But overall, that's the minor trade. Let's get into the bigger one. So the Minnesota Wild have acquired defenseman David Jiricek with a 2025 fifth-round pick. In exchange, the Columbus Blue Jackets acquired defenseman Damon Hunt, a conditional 2025 first-round pick, which is just top 5 protected, a 2027 second, a 2026 third, a 2026 fourth. The third belongs to Colorado, and the fourth belongs to Toronto. Honestly, we heard reports of Jiricek possibly getting traded, so this didn't really come out of nowhere. We kind of saw this coming. But LeBlock, who won this deal in retrospect?
Minnesota won this deal. I want to say people are making it sound like Minnesota straight up got him for free.
It wasn't that for sure.
I think for the Jackets, you still got a good return. You still got a first round pick. You still got an NHL player. Maybe he's not high potential, but he'll be a solid third pairing for Columbus. You get draft capital out the wazoo. You got 4 picks in this deal.
Yep.
You get 4 picks in this deal. I will say, Columbus is probably, I don't know if it's from the last regime, but developing players in Columbus has always been an issue. I don't know what it's been, but that seems that. And Jiricek, I want to say Jiricek did call out the franchise on some occasions. He called the franchise, so I think
I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, there was media media outlets in Europe. It was a European thing where basically they translated the quotes, and it was pretty bad. I think both just wanted to move on from each other. I think the Jackets, this is a waste of a 6th overall pick. You picked him
It is.
6th
It's a bad
overall.
look.
It's a very bad look, and like players who you think players want to come to Columbus when they see that.
Yeah, it is like it's not a good look. A 6th overall pick that if you like imagine him playing alongside Denton Mateychuk, who they got later on in this draft. Thankfully, he looks like he's going to be pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to be honest with you, Block. I feel like they never gave him an opportunity
They never,
to
no,
prove himself. They
yeah,
gave him 50 games.
mm-hmm. Like I
I
feel
don't. I
like
don't.
yeah, it's more on the organization than it is on David Jiricek. I think David Jiricek deserved to get playing time. Like when he played for Columbus, he wasn't horrible. He wasn't bad either, but he didn't stand out like you wanted him to. But like you need to develop him. And they just I don't at the NHL level they just couldn't wrap their head around it. And I think after I think Jiricek's gonna be very good for the Minnesota Wild. I think in the long term we're gonna see Columbus probably loses this trade in the long term. But really
Most
depends
likely.
on who they select with those picks.
So you're telling me that for a rebuilding team, you're going to have a top 4 of Zach Werenski, Dante Fabro, Ivan Provorov, and Damon Severson. Like ever since they went out and got Provorov in that deal, and they traded for Severson and signed him to that massive contract, and then they picked up Fabro off of waivers. Like you're telling me that you're gonna prefer that over a 6th overall pick? I don't really understand, and I know there was some issues at the draft talking about his poor skating, but that's something that
It's
you gotta
coachable.
learn. You
Yeah,
gotta
no,
learn this in the NFL.
that's fixable with coaching. Like that's not something
Yeah.
you trade a guy over. Like I just feel
Yeah.
like this is a whole, and I want to point out that Columbus is a team full of young players. They're full of young, good prospects and young players right now. You look at Kent Johnson, you look at Adam Fantilli, you look at Kirill Marchenko, you look at guys like Jen Mateychuk coming up and Caden Lindstrom. Um, this is something that if you're a young player seeing this, that doesn't really sit well with you. Well, for me, it doesn't sit well with me seeing
Yeah.
young players. If Columbus was an established team in the playoffs every year, I probably wouldn't bat an eye at this. But this is a team that's going through a rebuild right now.
Yeah, on a level, I understand why they wanted to get rid of him because Jiricek was a pick from the old regime. Again, they just never gave him a chance, and there were multiple outlets from down in Cleveland, which is the AHL affiliate for Columbus, who were saying to Columbus time and again that he's not going to learn anything more than he'll learn up there down
Mm-hmm.
here. Like it really wasn't beneficial. He also tore it up in the A when he was down there. I think going to Minnesota, being alongside a guy like Brock Faber and future Zeev Buyam, like it's a really good defensive core they're building there in Minnesota, and they get somebody else for the long term, which puts them in an even better spot. Honestly,
Minnesota is honestly in a really good spot right here because I'm pretty sure the buyout money is off the books next year.
it is. It is.
So they're gonna have this young decor coming up, and they're gonna have money to spend.
Yeah, let me pull up. Well, they do have to sign Kirill Kaprizov. That's got to be their
That's
number
number one
one
priority. Yes, of course.
priority right now. They are he is a huge part in why this team is as
As
good as
good
they
as
are
it
right
is.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So the guys that they have coming off the books within the next few seasons, Kirill Kaprizov at the end of 2026. That's really the biggest name that they have coming off. I guess Fleury next season. Apart from that, like they have everybody except for obviously your depth pieces. They have every single one of those guys pretty much locked up. Like Matt Boldy's locked up for a while. Eriksson X locked up for a while. They have Spurgeon on a good deal. They have Brodin on a good deal. They have Faber going into his huge extension soon as well. They've locked up their core essentially, and Kaprizov's the last piece for that. And I think that with this money coming off the books, them getting him signed to that deal, they're going to be in a very good cap situation after that.
Mm-hmm.
I would think because that's 14 mil coming off the books. That 14 mil, I would imagine probably 12 of it goes to Kaprizov.
Yeah, definitely like 85-90% of that goes to Kaprizov.
Yeah, most likely. But again, you know what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're getting there with him. And I think that they got Zuccarello coming off the books as well. They'll have money to work with, and the cap keeps rising up as well. So they are heading towards like a really good spot if they can control this and do this the right way. 100%.
Definitely.
All right. Anything more on Jiricek before we move on to Team Canada rosters?
Not really. I think I hope Jiricek fine. I hope Minnesota has a place for him on the NHL roster. I hope they're not just burying him in the minors.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Because if they're just trading for him and they give all that just to play him in the Iowa,
Iowa Wild.
then that's a lot of capital to give up for top pairing AHL Iowa.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. Let's move on to something you wanted to talk about. Team Canada and Team USA World Juniors roster. So we're going to go through Canada first because Canada is where LeBlock and I have our most complaints. USA I thought wasn't as bad. I didn't really think of anyone that didn't make USA, but LeBlock, you want to read off some of the names. Actually, here, let me read off the players, the notable players who did make the team. So, starting off with the goalies, Carson Vajarnson and Carter George were the most notable guys for me, prospects for the Flyers, and I think Vegas?
LA. He's in LA.
On the defense, you got guys like Oliver Bonk, Sam Dickinson, Tanner Mollendijk, and Matthew Schaefer. On the forward core, Denver Barkey, Cole Bedoin, Matthew Cataford, Berkeley Cadden, Easton Cowan, Andrew Crystal, Ethan Gauthier, Riley Height, Tanner Howe, Jet Luchenko, Porter Matone, Gavin McKenna, Bradley Nadeau, Luca Pinelli, Carson Repkoff, Callum Ritchie, Matthew Wood, and Braden Yeager. So, LeBlanc, where are your complaints?
My complaints are mostly honestly with the decor. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're telling me, I want to put this out there that I think that one of these two players should have made the team, and that's Zane Parik and Carter Yakimchuk.
I think Parik should 100% be on there.
And the rumor was going into this selection is that Parik's coach is on that staff. So you would assume that Parik was going to make the team.
That's very, very weird.
Yeah, so, or he sees him and he sees, hey, maybe he's not fit for this team. But, I want to put out for Yakimchuk. Yakimchuk was always going to be a fringe guy to make Team Canada. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he'd be Canada's number one defense. I'm not going to sit there and lie to you. I'm going to sit here.
His thing is bias Sens fan right there, so I wouldn't put it past him.
I'm going to say this, though. The tournament is being held in Ottawa this year. Why don't you give the Ottawa fans, the home fans, their guy? That's the one complaint I really have. They're paying good money to come see this tournament, and you're not going to give them one of their guys.
Yeah, I agree with that. Again, I think someone like Zane Parik should make it over Harrison Brunek.
He's a defensive defenseman, which I get, but still, Andrew Gibson, Zane Parik and Yakimchuk should make it. Even an invite to camp. This is not even the roster. This is just the camp roster.
Yeah, this is the camp. This is pretty wild. Is there a way that they can still make the team even though
it's if someone gets injured?
Yeah,
which I wouldn't bet on it either. But they could still get invites up to the selection date, which I think is 2 weeks before the tournament. We've also seen guys go home early from the World Juniors.
Yeah, so it's not out of the picture that these guys can make it. That these guys will make it, but again, seeing them not get initial invites to camp is pretty wild. Doesn't Zane Parik hold the offensive? Isn't he one of the best offensive defensemen in the?
Yeah. So Parik is the best offensive defenseman in the OHL. Yakimchuk's the best offensive defenseman in the WHL. So they're competing for the same spot. Essentially, I knew one of them was going to get snubbed. I didn't think both of them were going to get snubbed. But some other notable names that I feel probably should be here. Look at the forward core. You look at Beckett Seneca. who's
Seneca's a little wild that he didn't make it.
like the third overall pick from last year's draft. You're not going to take him. I saw Seneca play 2 weeks ago. He like he lights it up. Like I don't understand. Aginla not being there. Aginla, I don't understand that either. No Michael Misa, which is like, but I feel like Porter Martone kind of took his spot from him. So, but then no Green Tree and no Kobe Barlow either.
Martone's been lighting it up. So.
Yeah, no Green Tree, no Barlow.
Barlow's a little.
I also saw Barlow play this year. Barlow is like, he's the guy you want on that third line of Team Canada. I don't understand. I just, usually Team Canada goes with guys who are older. They go with the 19-year-olds and the 20-year-olds. They don't go with like guys who are not drafted yet. It's just, and I feel like I saw on that list, we saw Martone, we saw Schaefer, and we saw McKenna, and we saw one more. I keep forgetting who I'm somebody, but that's 4 guys who are draft eligible either this upcoming year or the following year, which is weird to me that Team Canada kind of went off the board with these selections.
Zane Perrick's a right shot defenseman too.
Yeah. So essentially,
telling me that like it's a little weird how someone like Andrew Gibson makes it over. Again, like I know you want defensive defensemen. I know you want that, but come on, really? Like I feel like Perrick. What handedness is Yakimchuk? Do you know?
Right, he's a right shot. He's a right shot defenseman.
Oh, he's a right one too. Okay, then I can understand. Maybe one of them not being here, but both of them is a little crazy. Yeah. And I don't even think I did my prospect pool overviews. I don't even think Brunek made the team. Got a camp invite last year. Why is he getting a camp invite this year?
I don't understand. Harrison Brunecki is a defensive defenseman. Like he's a pure defensive guy. He's not going to give you any offense. But Andrew Gibson one kind of like more like what like the hell like. Here I got
the Gibson one's a little bit.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Like you're looking at guys like Bo Akey, who plays for Barrie. Yeah. Sam Dickinson made the team, which is kind of I think he is the most complete defenseman out of that. I probably could say it last year. We both said, I'm pretty sure, that Sam Dickinson is probably the most complete defenseman out of that draft.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Perrick, he's more offensive. You look at Silyev, like he was really defensive and tall as hell. Boyum was all right, but I thought Dickinson was he was the most complete defender. He had offense and he had defense at the same time. Now, would you like to read off Team USA?
I'm just gonna go before we get into that. Just like Cameron Allen, Bo Akey, Sawyer Marino, Caden Price, even Matthew Schaefer. I feel like Yakimchuk and Perrick have more pull than Schaefer. Schaefer's been lighting it up, but I don't know. That's the
thing. That's the thing. Schaefer's been lighting it up. I think that's probably why he got in. It's a lot of recency bias, I feel like sometimes.
And that's how it goes with Team Canada. Like
that's probably why he's in there then.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like they could get invites. Like we're talking here like this is the final roster, but they can get invites for sure.
So yeah, there was
a few guys.
So yeah, 4 guys invited to camp that are 2024. Sorry, 3 guys for 2024, 2025, and 1 guy for 2026, which is Gavin McKenna, which I'm not gonna question that at all. So
I understand.
Yeah, so Team USA, I'll be honest with Team USA when looking at this camp, it's definitely a weaker roster.
Yeah, I'm looking at like the roster right here from Elite Prospects. It's really not that strong. In net, you have a strong goalie, Trey Augustine.
Yep.
I think that's a good pickup. Your defense isn't terrible. Z Boyum's definitely your number one by a mile. EJ Emery, who I thought was underrated. Logan Hensler's a good up and coming guy as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's this year too.
Like Cole Hudson. Like I'll be honest, I did not think he was gonna make Team USA.
Yeah, Cole Hudson was a little bit of a shocker when I saw that. The forward core isn't really that strong either, to be honest.
Forward core is very top.
Connolly, yeah, it's top heavy, but it's not very strong. Trevor Connolly, Cole Iserman, James Hagan,
Ryan Leonard,
Oliver Moore, Danny Nelson, Gabe Peralt,
Teddy
Teddy
Stiga,
Stiga.
Brody Zimmer.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
just it's not strong.
I feel
Really not
like
strong.
with Canada they have so many guys who are like good at the same thing, and so they had to split it up. With this one, they have guys who are like more diverse in their gameplay. I feel Team USA.
Isn't Will Smith and Celebrini eligible though?
Will Smith is they're both eligible, but they're
I
probably
doubt they're
not
gonna
going to
send.
make the team. Like I don't see San Jose giving Smith to Team USA to loan.
Yeah, I don't see them giving up those two. When's the last time that's even happened? Because I remember last year there were talks of Bedard, but that never happened.
Oh, it was. I think didn't the, I feel like
Oh,
the Oilers.
Celebrini's Canadian. What am I doing? I
Yeah.
thought I was like, what?
I feel like last time it's been done before. I'm trying to think of
Yeah,
who
I know
got
it's been
loaned.
done. I just can't think of the last time.
I want to say Eberle, maybe Nuge.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% on that though, so I can't really claim it.
it's been a while. Is there anyone else that like we're not thinking about that could?
I'm not
Um,
sure. But like Team USA, Trey Augustine is lights out. He's playing for the number one team in the country right now in Michigan State.
yeah. Could could they send Lane Hudson? I know
No,
they probably
no,
wouldn't,
he's
but
too
could they?
old. He's too old.
Uh, yeah, he has been in the league
He's
for a
been around
while.
for a while. Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up the rookies, see if there's any of them that Jackson Blake. I don't know if he's old. Yeah, I don't know. This is probably your roster. It's really meh. It's still a good team. It'll beat out some of the other teams, but it's really meh, in my opinion.
It's not as
Again,
strong as years past for sure.
well, it's definitely not as good as that team that won it last year.
Hmm
100%. I mean, you're obviously missing Cutter Gauthier. You're missing um, Rucker McGroarty. Surprised he's not here. Actually, he's probably too old. Never mind.
He was captain last year, so he's
Yeah,
too definitely too old.
yeah, that's definitely it. All right. Any more thoughts on the U.S. rosters, Canada rosters, anything like that?
Be more exciting. Pick Yakubchuk because I said so. And
Pick Jakob Chuck.
I'll probably be at some of these games, so we'll see. Get my scouting reports.
Yeah. All right. Let's move into a list that me and LeBlanc compiled together this past week. We decided to rank U24, not U23, core four. So, LeBlanc, if you want to go into depth and kind of explain what we mean by that.
So core four means these are four guys who you're going to build the team around. These are your four best players under the age of 24. So,
Yes.
for example, like a core four of the past was Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Fleury. That's an example of the past. So
Yes.
we went into this year, and Craig Button does this every year, so he's probably one of the he's rankings for this list. So shout out to Craig
Yep.
Button.
Yeah, for sure.
We
All
really
right. Where should we start? Number one or number
let's go 10-1.
10? Okay. All right, number 10, we have Utah's core, which is Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther, Tej Aginla, and Dmitry Simashev. This is a good core. I think that it's very top heavy, relying on Cooley and Gunther. Not particularly high on, I like Simashev, but you're comparing him to other core fours. I just don't know if that's particularly the best one, if I'm
Would
being honest with you.
would you where would you say Maverick Lamoureux? Would he come close to this?
Probably not,
Okay.
being honest with you. If we still had Connor Geeky, I'd put him on there, but he probably I don't think that he fits in there.
Like
I,
Cooley's been working. Gunther's been lining it up this year. Aginla's probably their top prospect, I would say.
yeah, at this point he is.
And then
I
Simashev.
don't know.
And Simashev, he's decent.
He's in the KHL.
Yes.
People
So
probably forgot who he was. I wouldn't blame you either. Number 9 got Leo Carlson, Mason McTavish, Beckett Seneca, and Cutter Gauthier
for
as the Anaheim Ducks U24 core. LeBlanc, we did get some comments about this saying that somebody like Minchukov should be in here or
Zellweger,
Owen.
and we even got some Zegras comments too.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if I'm keen
Like
on Trevor Zegras being
like
there.
I'll be honest, I would probably put Minchikov in here somewhere. Maybe take out Gauthier or Seneca.
I'd take out Seneca, in my
Yeah,
opinion. I put Minchukov in there.
yeah. Like
I think
the
Minchukov's already doing really good.
yeah the Ducks got a pretty good core, so we're only doing the top four. We're not doing like past four. So if this is past four, we probably had them higher. But out of these four
Yeah.
players, I would say number 9 is probably the best spot you're gonna get.
Yeah, most likely. Number 8 is the Dallas Stars. Wyatt Johnston, Logan Stankoven, Thomas Hartley, and Maverick Bork. I'm just gonna say it's a pretty top heavy core. The bottom half of it is not. It's still good, but it's not like as good as the ones above it. I like Thomas Hartley. Bork, I think, is actually leading or is towards the top of scoring in the AHL. I think it's still a good core four.
Yeah, it's still good work. Johnson and Stankoven really carry this quadrup
Yes.
quint. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. Quartet, I would say. Um, Harley had a really good year last year. Bork is probably the odd man out though. Like Bork is like
Yeah.
I would still say
Trying to
I'd still say it's pretty. It's there. It's yeah. Johnson's elite. Stankoven's going to be elite probably. Harley is a good defenseman, and Bork is on the come up.
Yeah, a lot of it is carried by those two guys for sure. I'm just trying to look like and see if like there's anybody we missed um from Dallas. Yeah, not really anybody else who would fit in there like Leon Bichelle, but he's not better than Maverick
Yeah,
Bork. Yeah, that would be pretty much it. I mean, like it feels like it should be better, but like if you're being honest, those are the four guys who are leading this push right now for this team. Number 7, the Ottawa Senators: Tim Stutzla, Jake Sanderson, Ridley Gregg, and Carter Yakimchuk. LeBlanc, you're the Sens fan. I'll let you explain this one a little bit.
Stutzla is already elite. Like I don't know really how much we're gonna push and shove with that one. Alone he like
Right.
I buy a Sens fan alert. Stutzla probably could carry this higher. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So, how do you feel? So you have Greg in there. What about someone like Shane Pinto? Could
Pinto
he
is
fit
too
in there
old.
over Yakimchuk?
Pinto's too old.
He's 24.
Is he? I thought he's 25.
Yeah, he's 24. It says he's 24 on the age thing. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I was just thinking like, you left Pinto out. That's what I was wondering.
I mean, you could put Pinto here over Greg probably. They're both not having great seasons, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just saying Pinto
Yeah.
is also eligible too.
Yeah, but like Stu and Sanderson, like that duo carries this right now.
Yeah.
Greg's finding his roots. He's got the potential to be a solid second to third liner, and Yakupchuk has the potential to be the next Brent Burns.
Yeah. We'll see where that we'll see if that pans out to what it's going to be. Number 6, Connor Bedard, Frank Nazar, Artem Levshinov, and Kevin Korchinski as the Chicago Blackhawks score at number 6. Yeah, this is a good. I think Bedard carries a lot of this. I
Yeah.
still think the other three guys are good though.
Yeah, Nazar. Once again, I'm always be a Frankie Nazar fan. I liked him coming out of the draft. I liked him. When he had that chance with Chicago late last year. Levshinov, as a Michigan State hockey fan, it's this whole thing is just me like glazing over players I like. So,
Yeah,
Korchinski's a
yeah,
good. Korchinski has potential to be a good offensive defenseman. Um, but yes, Bedard does carry this quite heavily. If there was no Bedard here, this might be lower.
It's definitely lower. Who? I don't think this team even makes the top 10 if Bedard's not there.
Yeah, probably.
Number 5, Jack and Luke Hughes, Simone Nemec, and Anton Silyev is the New Jersey Devils core at number 5.
Yeah, I think Jack Hughes, kind of like Bedard, kind of elevates this up. Luke Hughes, he's not bad. He's got potential to be a good defenseman. Simone Nemec and Anton Silyev have potential to. Nemec's been up and down though. Silyev is over in the KHL, I'm pretty sure right now.
Yeah,
You
he's in the K.
you could argue that you could put Dawson Mercer on this list too.
Yeah, is he old enough? Yeah, he's 2020. He should be old enough to get in here. Yeah, I think that it's still a good core, but they yeah, I don't think it really is higher though. Jack Hughes carries the big bulk of it. All right, number 4, Montreal Canadiens core: Cole Caulfield, Uri Slavkovsky, Ivan Demidov, and Lane Hudson.
I think this is gonna get us some comments.
Yeah, this might.
Caulfield's having a fantastic season. Like he's probably gonna score 40 this year.
Right. Yeah.
Slavkovsky just screams potential. Not having the greatest start, but hopefully he can have a nice finish. He had a good season last year. Hoping he can build off that. Demidov is, you know what it is. Like, I don't need to really explain. Yeah, and Lane Hudson, everyone's favorite head bobber. Everyone's favorite,
Oh my God, here we go.
He has potential to be he's a very fantastic skater. He's just got to develop at the NHL level, and I think he will be a number 1 defenseman one day.
Yeah, he is a very, very talented kid for sure. Number 3, the San Jose Sharks core: Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, Yaroslav Askarov, and William Eklund. By the way, we did talk a little bit about Dickinson maybe making this, but I think that I'm fine with those 3.
Yeah, Montreal and San Jose both have very, very, very deep prospect pools. So I want to put that out there. That actually probably all 4 of these teams in the top 4 have really deep prospect pools. So some guys were left off, and we'll see if they make it next year. Like I don't.
Yeah, again, it happened if they get another top 5 pick too. Like that makes it even deeper.
Which San Jose probably will get another top 5 pick. So, Celebrini, he's almost point per game in the NHL. Yeah, coming back, he's looked fantastic. Will Smith, a little bit of a slower start, but he still has that potential to be.
He's picking it up.
He's picking it up, yeah. Askarov is like
Askarov's incredible.
Probably the best goalie in the age. Yeah. William Eklund's finding his groove. I feel like he's having a decent year.
Yeah, I think that this is a very good core. Number 2, the Detroit Red Wings: Moritz Seider, Lucas Raymond, Axel Sandin Pellikka, and Sebastian Cossa. You have 2 very good
NHL
defensemen
players
on that list. What's the big advantage for this team's core and the team above them's core is that they have a really good goalie.
Yeah. Cossa, he just got called up on an emergency basis. We're talking off screen. We're talking about him making his debut against one of our teams, potentially.
Possibly.
Yeah. So Raymond and Seider, those 2 got extended this summer. They're both very good NHL players. They're both fantastic at what they do. ASP, Axel Sandin Pellikka, is probably one of the best defensive prospects outside of the NHL right now. Like,
I think he is the best.
Yeah,
outside of Zeke William and it's a great again and again, like we're even missing Simone Edvinsson.
We're missing Edvinsson. We're missing Danielson. We're missing Augustine. Yeah. Like the Red Wings prospect pool is loaded. I think we said that so many times that you could probably roll the dice and put more combinations in here.
Yeah, honestly, it's such a stacked core. just like the team at number 1, the Minnesota Wild. Brock Faber, Matt Boldy, Zeev Boyum, and Jesper Wallstead. Stacked.
Yeah,
Absolutely stacked.
just the combination of this is all good trades. Like you got Faber from the Fiala trade. That's looking like a slam dunk right now. Drafting Boldy, he fell. Drafting Bulliam, he fell. Drafting Wallstead, he fell.
Yeah.
It's just
It is such a good core.
it's a great core and it's good drafting and all my congrats go to GM. Is it Bill Guerin?
Bill Guerin, yeah.
It's Bill Guerin.
On top of that, David Jiricek as
Yeah,
well.
I was gonna say we probably could have added David Jiricek here, but I feel like this like Wallstead's gonna be a really good goalie for a very long time.
Yes. Really,
Bulliam,
I think that's
yeah.
incredible blue line they're building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that is our list. Do you have any we should ask this. Do you have honorable mentions to some of the cores? I know you put it in your list. Who are the other cores that you
I like the Jackets core, even though we kind of bashed them early in the episode. We kind of
Yeah. It's still a good core.
Yeah, so I had the Jackets core. I think the Flames are building a very nice core with Connor Zary and Zane Parekh. The Sabres, Yuri Kulich, Owen Power.
Yeah.
What's it? Consta Hellenius. Then I had the LA Kings. Byfield, Greentree, George.
Brant.
Portillo.
Yeah. It's also a good core, too. Again, there's a lot of good cores in this league. These were our top 10. We might put something together next week as well that we'll discuss, too. Because we did have a good time putting this together. This was a fun list. Okay, LeBlock, is it Four Nations time?
It is Four Nations time.
All right, let me pull up the rosters right here, right now. Let's get into our Four Nations rosters for the 2024 Four Nations tournament. So, again, these are ours. These aren't like entirely, these aren't the rosters that were released. These rosters will be released the official rosters will be released on Wednesday. And these are our projected rosters. So we're going to go through the 4 teams, go through the defense, go through the forward core. We'll talk about our thoughts and, things like that. And let's get going here. Who do you want to start with? Team USA, Team Finland? Who are you thinking?
We'll start with we'll go left to right. So we'll start with USA.
All right, yeah, let's start with the Team USA. So let's start off with that forward core. Top 6: Jack Eichel, Austin Matthews, Matthew Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk, Dylan Larkin, and Kyle Connor. So, any thoughts there on that top 6? Just it's incredible.
So this top 6 is incredibly. It's skill, but it's also a team that's not going to be afraid to punch you back.
Yep.
Yeah, because Brady, Matthew, Larkin, even Connor can get physical at times. So.
Yeah. It's a very stacked top 6 offensively and physically. That is, I would say, the best top 6 of the tournament. Bottom 6: Jack Hughes, Tage Thompson, Clayton Keller, Jason Robertson, Matt Boldy, Jake Gensel, and then Alex Tuck is our extra forward that we have there. Honorable mentions: Kyle Palmieri, Alex Laferriere, Paul Cotter, and Kiefer Sherwood. So let's go through the bottom 6 first before we get into the honorable.
I just want to point out that there's going to be players that make these teams that are going to come out of the blue and they're going to be bottom 6 players. Like, these are going to be players who, like, you're not going to put a guy, like, may not put a guy like, for example, like Jason Robertson on the 4th line. You're going to have a guy that wants to be gritty, wants to get scrapped. So we're going to see guys that make the team that probably wouldn't make the team if it was an Olympic team. This is a Four Nations team. So,
most likely.
We might get that surprise. I might be completely wrong on that, but I feel like we're going to see guys make the team that you wouldn't expect to make the team. Yes. That's why we have Alex Laferriere as an honorable mention there.
Yeah, I like the bottom 6. Thompson as your 3rd line center, Boldy as your 4th line center is pretty stacked down the middle as it is. I think Clayton Keller is having a good year in Utah. Jack Hughes, who's Jack Hughes. Jake Gensel looking good in Tampa. Jason Robertson starting off slow, but me and LeBlanc kind of debated about this a little bit. We still think he's probably going to make the team, but I don't know. We may see somebody, again, like somebody who's a grit player get over him.
Mm.
Okay, let's move into the defensive core. Adam Fox, Quinn Hughes, Charlie McAvoy, Zach Werenski, Jacob Slavin, and John Carlson as our top six, as our sixth defenseman, and then Jake Sanderson is our seventh D. We don't have any honorable mentions there for a defenseman, unless if you can think of one right
Brock
now.
Faber.
Faber, yeah, he should be in there for sure. I like the D core.
Yeah,
I
D-core.
think it's a great defensive core.
Yeah, D-core's solid. He got 3 of the top 10 defensemen. Yeah, 3 of the top 10 defensemen in the league in that D-core with Fox, Hughes, and McAvoy. And then you got some defensive guys like Slavin, Sanderson, Carlson's in there too. You got a nice offensive punch. And then you got a guy like Werenski who does both.
Werenski's having a great year in Columbus. We couldn't not put him in. He's definitely going to make it on that end. And then the goaltending. The goaltending is probably going to be where we have some controversy. We have Connor Hellebuck, Jake Ottinger, and Dustin Wolf.
Listen, for a goalie on a not so great Calgary team, he's basically making sure Calgary is still in that playoff picture. He's rocking like a 9.26, I believe.
Yeah, honorable mention to Jeremy Swayman, who probably does make it over Wolf, but
yeah,
this is our projected.
This is
we can do what we want.
Let us have fun. Stop.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great way to say it. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good team. This is probably the team to beat, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's rocking a 9-18, 8 wins, 1 shutout in 13 games played in Calgary this season.
And how old is he? Like 24?
23.
23, yeah. So he would be the third string hypothetically, but still a great player, great goalie for sure. Yeah, this is our Team USA. Again, as I said, this is really the team to beat. I don't know if LeBlanc will agree with that as a Canadian, but I think that this is probably the best
team. Strong roster. I think this is definitely probably you argue is the team to beat because of how they're just so solid at forward, at defense, and at goalie. Like, they're strong everywhere. I'm not going to sit here and say they're the favorite because I'm biased, but
I didn't say they were the favorite. I just said that they're probably the team to beat.
It's going to be a tough road to beat this team. It's going to be very tough.
Yes, 100%. Okay, let's move on to Team Canada. Canada's roster. We're going to start off with the top 6. Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby, Braden Point is the first line. Brad Marchand, Connor McDavid, and Mark Stone as your second line. The fact that you have Connor McDavid on your second line is already great.
It's already a team. You could also imagine a line of McKinnon, Crosby, McDavid.
Yeah, it's an absolutely loaded top 6. It's loaded. I would argue it's better than USA's.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to
you can definitely argue that. I think it's a lot less gritty than USA's top 6, but it's a lot more skill, I would say.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the left wing side is already really deep.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom 6: Mitch Marner, Dylan Strome, Connor Bedard, Brandon Hagel, Nick Suzuki, Sam Reinhart, and then you have Seth Jarvis as your extra forward there.
Yeah, that screams bottom. I mean, maybe not Bedard, but that kind of screams like a bottom 6. Like Suzuki's gonna provide you good defense, all around. You'll probably move him up and down that bottom 6. Marner's gonna help with that as well, and scoring. Bedard scoring, Reinhardt scoring, Hagel grit, and then Strome grit and scoring. And then Jarvis, when he gets
team's goals.
Yeah, and Jarvis is grit and goals. So, this was actually so hard to make, this bottom 6, because we had guys we debated with, who should make who probably we want on the team, but probably won't make the team. Look at our honorable mentions. We got guys like Travis Konechny, John Tavares, Dylan Gumpher, Drake Bafferson. Canada's deep at
Yeah,
forward. Like it's insane.
it's wild how stacked their forward core really is. When you get to the blue line, it's honestly even better. Some would argue. Cale Makar, Devon Tays is your first pairing. Evan Bouchard, Josh Morrissey is your second. Travis Sanheim, Dougie Hamilton is your third, and then Mackenzie Weegar is your extra guy. Just want to say we threw Sanheim in there because I have a gut feeling he's making this Four Nations team.
And I let him do it.
Yeah, he let me do it. He let me do it.
A guy
I love him.
a guy I
Very
think
offensive.
should make the team, but we kind of just disagreed on it. Was Noah Dobson.
I just don't know. Like this is I've heard Dobson like this year hasn't been that great for him. Last year was really good for him. This year has been a little bit slow, but I could be wrong.
And then
Yeah.
Pietrangelo, we kind of flirted with, but we took him out in the end.
Yeah. Same with I should put him in there. We had him in before Sanheim. Shea Theodore.
Shea
as well.
Theodore, yes, we did. That was a last minute change before we started recording, actually.
Yes, it was. Again, very offensive, especially on the left side. Like Makar, Bouchard, Sanheim. That's a really offensive one side there.
Yeah. Goaltending, you look at, is like the weakest link of this team. This is their one Achilles heel. We got Jordan Binnington. We have Logan Thompson. We have Cam Talbot. I want to give a shout out to Sam Montembeault. And Aiden Hill. I think both of those guys could make this roster, but I feel like these three are the consensus.
Aiden Hill, I think actually most likely may make this roster. Now that I look at it, because I heard something in the media that him and Bennington were apparently two consensus. So it seems. I still like it. It's not as good as Canada's, like the U.S. I'm gonna be honest. And you look in terms of goaltending in this tournament, it might be the weakest of any of these. Being honest, like
I do want to say, I do want to say though that like any of these goalies playing behind that defense core, I'm fine with.
That is true. That is actually very true. So I think you can get away with it. We'll just see though how the tournament goes.
As long as Stuart Skinner is not back there, I think we'll be good.
I wouldn't put it past him if he's on this roster.
If Stuart Skinner makes the roster, someone somewhere fucked up.
Someone's getting fired.
Yeah, like I'm sorry. Like I like Stuart Skinner. I think he's a good person. I think he's a good hockey player, but he's just not a good goaltender in my eyes right now.
It's just bias. Like I feel like some of it may be bias there. With
who is Doug Armstrong is the GM of Canada. So Binnington's definitely on that roster. So I don't see. Oh, yeah, I don't see Skinner on this roster. If he's on that roster, we're not gonna hear the end of it. Us Canadians.
Okay, let me ask you this question though: if the Oilers win Game 7 of the Cup Finals in June, do you think Skinner is a lock for this roster?
Probably.
Yeah, but again,
that's just recency bias, and we're gonna see that with these rosters, maybe.
Possibly, yeah. I agree with that as well. All right, let's move on to Team Sweden, which is still a good roster, but again, it's not.
Yeah, wait. I got one more question for you before we start Sweden. Would you put Zach Hyman on this roster?
As of right now, no. I don't think he fits anywhere on this.
Because that was the one for in that before season that he was a lock potentially, and now he's
struggling. If this tournament happened last year, then I'm putting him in there. But besides that,
all right, Sweden. All right.
Sweden. So Sweden again, it's not as strong as Canada and the U.S. I would say, but it's still a pretty damn good team. Your top 6: Philip Forsberg, Mika Zibanejad, William Nylander, Adrian Kempe, Elias Pettersson, and Jesper Bratt. How are we feeling about that?
Forward core, top 6. Zibanejad's having a bad year, but I would say both. He's a lock though, which is kind of I'm surprised by that, but Yeah, this team's going to score a lot of goals. That top six is going to score a lot of goals.
If they're gonna win, that's how they're gonna need to do it.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be honest. Like
Like,
they still are good at everything else, but it's I still think they're still weaker than the other teams.
like four out of those, that six, top six, they're all snipers.
Yeah, these are all goal scorers
Mm-hmm.
at heart, especially Forsberg and Kempe.
Kempe, yeah, and Nylander, I would say, is a goal scorer as well.
Yeah. Bottom six: Lucas Raymond, William Karlsson, Joel Eriksson Ek, Fabian Zetterlund was the last minute change we had. Leo Carlson, William Eklund, and Michael Backlund was our extra forward. Honorable mentions to Alex Weinberg, Andre Burakovsky, Ricard Raquel.
Yeah, that bottom six, I like it because you have guys who are good at defense. You have guys who are like Eriksson Ek and Zetterlund are going to be very two defensive stopgaps there. Leo Carlson's isn't a bum at the defense either. Eklund and Raymond are your goal scorers.
For sure.
Yeah, and like Sweden's got a good forward core. I would say though that it's not as strong as the two North American countries.
No, it's not. Eric Carlson, Gustav Forsling, Victor Hedman, Rasmus Dahlin, Matthias Ekholm, Rasmus Anderson, and Hampus Lindholm as your seventh defenseman. Carlson, he'll score, just not great at defense.
But
Forsling, if he's on his other side, I think he'll be okay.
yeah, that's why you put Forsling with Carlson because like I would say like throughout his career he's always had a guy on his pair who's like a defensive guy. He's never had a guy who's good at offense with him.
Yeah,
You
I
know
agree.
you know he's gonna do that stuff. You have a guy who's gonna stay back. So
Still a very good blue line though. You got
yeah,
Dahlin on the second pairing. Come on.
Hedman Dahlin's gonna that's a pairing. That's world breaker right there. That's gonna be though I feel
That
like
might be
yeah no they're gonna be that's gonna be a really good pairing. Ekholm Anderson's a shutdown pair. And then you have
yeah.
Lindholm. This defense core might I think it's in the same tier as Canada and U.S.
Yeah, I agree with that. Shout outs to Oliver Ekman Larson and Philip Broberg and Jonas Brodin, who did
Yes.
not make the cut. Goaltending: Jacob Markstrom, Philip Gustafson, and Linus Olmark. I think that's a good three guys.
Yeah, you don't really have an honorable mention for a goaltender from Sweden.
Is Sam Erson is the only one that I can really think of, but
Yeah.
he's injured right now. So yeah, Sweden solid roster. I wouldn't put it as at the tier of U.S. and Canada. I think that it's definitely the third best. But looking at Finland, me and LeBlanc
Yeah.
agreed that it's not the
I just
strongest.
for
In the league.
Sweden real quick, I wouldn't be surprised if they made it to the final of the Four Nations though. Like
Yeah,
don't sleep on Sweden.
I'm not sleeping on them. I'm just saying, like,
A team that I'm
if
heavily
I'm ranking,
yeah. Yeah, if you're ranking them, you put them below the other two, right?
yeah,
A team I am sleeping on is this next team and the final team,
Finland.
Finland, because I love everybody, but I want to be mean, but yikes is a word. And I think the forward core is fine though. You got Hintz, Barkov, Rantanen, Teravainen, Aho, and Line is your top six.
It's a good top six. It's actually a very good top six. Your center core is actually very solid. Very good top nine. You got guys like Rantanen who can score, Hintz who can play very well as well. It's a good top six. Bottom six is not terrible either. Eric Halla, Anton Lindell, Arturi Lehkonen, Matthias Michelli, Eli Tolvanen, Mikhail Granlund, and then Jesperi Kotkaniemi is your extra. Honorable mentions to Capo Caco and Joel Armia. I think Vakaneinen's a defenseman.
Yeah.
It's not as strong as the other teams, but it's still not that bad. You need goal scoring from this team, and I think they have some guys who can do that.
Yeah, you're looking at guys like Lundell's going to provide you that two-way game. Lekkonen's going to get you them goals. Same with Granlund. Tolvanen and Michelli are going to be a dynamic duo there. Kotkaniemi could come in for some defensive prowess, but I'll be honest, like this forward core outside of the top, maybe outside of the top line, it's pretty weak.
Yeah, it's not really that strong. To be dead honest with you, the defense is also not particularly great either.
This defense is gonna get walked all over, and I'll say it. I'll go through here now. Lindell Heiskanen, which is a real life first pairing.
Yep, that's the first
you,
pairing of Dallas.
Yes. Then you have Mikola and Olli Mata. Those are two bottom pairing guys.
On your second pairing.
Yeah, and then you have Valimaki, who I believe is actually injured right now. I'm not too.
I think he's healthy.
Okay.
For Utah, I believe he's healthy.
Then you have Ristolainen. And your extra is
Ristolainen, I'm going to say this. People think that he's bad. He actually has been solid since coming to Philly.
Yeah.
Still overpaid, but he's been solid.
I'm going to say, and then Jokiharju's your extra, who he's a defenseman. That's really all I can say.
Shout outs to Vakanainen and Heinola.
Yeah. And like Heinola was in here until we thought about Jokiharju. We kind of forgot about him. I will not lie.
Again, if we're battling with Jokiharju and Heinola, it's not a strong defense.
Goaltending is actually, I would say goaltending might be a strength on this roster.
It's their biggest. It's their best position.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
Yeah, Jussi Saros, Ukko-Pekka Lakonen, and Kevin Lankinen.
Kevin Lankinen has been great this year. Saros is Saros. It's a good trio of goalies. Shout out to Joonas Korpisalo as well. I'm sure LeBlock loves that. Okay, those are our 4 teams. Any more comments or thoughts on them?
4 Pasalo.
4 Pasalo. All right, I'm gonna ask you this now. I want you to rank these teams from 4 to 1.
Okay, 4 is Finland. I don't think we need any conversation about that. I'm gonna say it's close. Like Sweden is like they're gonna battle with USA and Canada. But I think they're going to be at that 3 spot. There is a tier below them, but they're like, so it goes like, I'll say this. And then I'm going to put Canada at 2.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm going to put USA at 1, but it's literally by a hair. Like it's comes down to goaltending. I feel like Canada is better forward core. USA has better defense and goaltending though.
Yeah, that is my exact ranking. I have Finland at 4. It's not
so
strong.
It goes USA, Canada, gap, Sweden, and then big gap, Finland.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is for me too. Finland at 4, not strong. Sweden is solid, but they're fighting there with US and Canada. Then you got Canada and the US right up there. Again, this is really US versus Canada. The other 2 teams are just there to have fun.
Yeah.
Being completely honest with you.
Cancun!
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. All right, LeBlock, that'll do it for this episode of the Nordic Leblock podcast. LeBlock, you got any final thoughts?
I hope we are correct in our 4 Nations roster, because it'll be funny if we're like exactly right.
It would be funny. I don't think we will be, though.
I know, and then I can just go, boo! We called that shit! We called that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, well, 30 episodes, LeBlock, of the Nordic Leblock podcast. That's pretty awesome.
No,
would be more. More for you cancel. No, I'm kidding.
I'm
kidding.
It's been a good 30 It's been good 30 episodes, but here's to another 30 more.
Oh, even more than 30. Here's to another 70 more. You know what's crazy is that the Nordcast is at 80 episodes and the Nord Block's at 30. That's 110 podcasts I've been on in the last 2 years.
It's crazy.
Not even including the LeBlock cast and when I went on checking for... Jesus Christ, that's so many. All right. Enough talking about that. All right, well, that'll do it for this episode of the Nordic Leblock podcast. Thank you guys very much for watching and listening. If you're watching, please subscribe down below. We greatly appreciate it. If you're listening, follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Follow the Nordblock Pod Instagram at Nordblock Pod. Follow the Nordblock Pod Twitter at Nordblock Pod as well. That's it for us. I'm Nord. That's Block. Thanks for watching. Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas season. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Ho, ho, ho.
No chow?
Ciao.
I just do what I do. See me? I just do what I do. Man, I just do what I do. To know about you, I just do what I do. Check. That's the intro. See that? Yeah. I just do what I do. who can witness this. I am close to divine. Know the moment is mine, need no omen or sign. I sprint, providing a back sound to all the squares that ask around. Be getting it, my skills pay me. Trying to get a million, baby, with an adopted flow that God gave me. Me now. Tell whoever runners that they spot is temporary till I take it, it's mine. I'm selfish. Your will. Tell Miss I'm on my wealth tip. So when we cash out soon, I'm just investing. Hey, no yes men. I've been a legend since before mom and dad had me and was best friends. I chew through comp, don't test them. I chew on tracks, cause after that I bless them. I just do what I do. You see me? I just do what I do. I just do what I do. I don't know about you. I just do what I do. Check.